we have a strong, diverse team, and we just get along so well, and we have been counseled from Reverend Dr. Rose Niles a few times on Zoom, and she has really helped us understand what fundraising is all about. And she's from the Presbytery Foundation. We learned through reading the book A Spirituality of Fundraising by Henri Nouwen that fundraising is a form of ministry. And Dr. Niles encouraged us to continue to learn more about it. And we did for, we've been working and we've been just studying. And what I learned was fundraising is stating your beliefs and in such a way that you encourage others to participate with you in the vision and the mission that you have. And we have an amazing vision. At all times we thought of ministry, and we thought of you, and we thought of the people that use the church, the Red Cross, and people with the Scouts, and we thought about Creekside that comes here daily. And we thought about what God was asking us to do. Our Capital Campaign vision shows new direction and opportunities for our mission that'll take us into the next decade and more. Our mission is to connect to the community, to our church through outreach and ministry. I look around and I know that you love this church like I do. And I'm inviting you to participate with us in our vision and our mission. So let's learn more.
Hi again. So one of the big mistakes we make when we do something like a capital campaign, it's very human to say, okay, what is the construction and repairs that we're doing? But in leadership, they talk about knowing the difference between process measures and outcome measures. And we really need to stay focused on the outcomes. The question is, how do we continue and expand Christian ministry as a community of believers? That's our goal. Our goal is to provide for, so we can continue and expand our ministry to others. Notice how often outreach is listed on these slides. So some people were asking, as we talked with them, about, well, why is this the time to do a capital campaign? Right? When some of us, when we're asked to give money, it's never a good time. Right? It never feels good. But what we point out, what we notice, is that there have been so many campaigns carried on by this congregation. The average length of time between them is about 16 years, except for we have not had one here for 27 years. And that means that there's greater need, that some repairs that have to be made so that things don't happen like buildings fall in are more dire than they would have been if that regular cycle of campaigns had continued. I understand that means that even for people who have been here for 50, 60 years, we can forget what is a capital campaign, how is that a spiritual practice, because we just haven't done it in so long. That's okay, let's talk about those things. And the big thing to understand is the way things have changed from 60 years ago. That I often hear people talking as if we're still in the 1950s or 60s. That definitely is not the case. That the big change has been that people would seek out a church to be a part of back then. And today, people do not. And so the church goes to the community no longer comes to the church. I'm going to be talking, I'm sure at some point, I love this book, The Great Dechurching is the newest book showing really great large-scale research on what's happening in Christian churches across the United States. They call it de-churching. People who went to church no longer going. 42 million people stopped going to church altogether over the last 25 years. 42 million, that's huge. So, how do we continue to reach people when they don't come in? If all we do is sit in here and think, well, I'll be friendly, and that's enough, then we are kidding ourselves. Ministry today is outward focused. We must meet people where they are. That's the big change. And timeline.
Hello. Our timeline, initial beginning phase, is what we actually started last year. We started meeting last year and started organizing and figuring out what we wanted to do, how we were going to approach it. As Kirk mentioned, and Phyllis mentioned, we've been doing research, talking to Dr. Niles and going to other people and getting their input. And from there, we're hoping to gain support from our closet supporters and then create communication materials, which Ann will talk more about later. She's done a wonderful job. The public phase is what we're about to reach now. And this, as Phyllis pointed out, it's not just now in 2025, but also into 2026. And the church and committee-wide mailings and visits and events will be happening. You'll be seeing those come advertised very, very soon. Future actions, we're seeking approval from the congregation to go forward with this in our annual meeting coming up in January. We'll be holding individual conversations with you for your support. And let's be honest, your money, and that's the way it goes. Rally events, info sharing sessions. We'll be happy to answer questions like today. Afterward, we'll have a little Q&A for a brief time if you have any questions. Community-wide outreach, as Kirk pointed out, we are not just an inclusive church and we think good thoughts and people will come through the door. We have to go out beyond that. We have to really, really spread the word, not just about Jesus, but about what we do here. And we'll have a campaign closing event. And probably at the end of 2026. So.
Thank you. So I've had the privilege of joining this team back in March. So others on my team have been hard at work much longer than myself. And as you may know, I'm not one to readily come up here. I usually leave that up to Bob and the girls. So I do feel strongly about the investment in our church and to support it and see it grow and thrive into the future. So I will be brief on my next two slides highlighting our goals and top priorities. We've identified three main areas in this campaign to support, and they are to further our presence in the community and ministry, invest in mission work in our community and beyond, and safety and compliance in general upkeep. So I will cover our four main priorities, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's painting and repairs, the fire alarm system, replacing and retaining the wall and adding a safety fence, upgrades to our technology, and additional items are listed here. And of course, you guys have heard about the completion of the boiler replacement, which we are happy about.
I'm the communications person. I brought props, I brought visuals, you know how it is. Now during the past year, we have tried to communicate in so many ways. We talked about our project details and these 3 orders of emphasis that Susan has talked about. We've had communications through newsletters, glad tidings. We had a coffee hour in September. We printed this past month some of the frequently asked questions we've got from all of you. But what we're going to do now is we're going to roll all that up into an information packet. Sort of like a little bit thinner than this, but there's got to be 2 versions of that. There's got to be a version for the congregation. There's got to be a version for the community because we're going to be doing all this community outreach. Now, Reverend Dr. Niles told us that, we can't just go and do this. We've got to test it out first. She told us we have to do a feasibility study. So once we put this information packet together, we're going to be going to some of you that we've identified, and some of you can volunteer to look at what we put out together to see, do we have the right info? What's missing? What are some other questions that you think we should be answering for you? Now, Phyllis talked about the mission, and the mission is connecting the community to our church through outreach and ministry. So think about, some of the groups that Mark mentioned that, use this building. You've got Creekside, you've got Scouts, you've got the American Red Cross that does their blood drives here, Keeping Our Promise, Vacation Bible School, the Teas are in a couple of weeks that the community looks forward to, and the list goes on and on. The technology project is going to open this up for more people that want to use this space for weddings, for funerals, for other community events. So how could the church continue to be this light on the hill? How are our church facilities being used now? And how can we use it into the future? We want to move forward to include these groups and identify other uses for our space to serve our mission.
Yeah, I really feel it's important for us to create opportunities, and there are a lot of opportunities out there as we move into the next few years. So our financial goal is $400,000, and we have built in contingency for increased costs of our projects. We have done lots of research. We have estimates and costs for all of our projects. We're still waiting on the ramp in the back. The ramp in the back, coming in the back door, it's okay, but it's going to have to be repaired, within 10 years. And so we're looking into that. We also have a nice allocation for mission, because that's really what we're all about. So where's the money going to come from? Well, the congregation has been very, very supportive, and it really touched my heart about a year ago when donations started coming in before we even asked. So that made the team feel that you are supporting us and feel that it gives us the confidence, that okay, we're doing the right thing, let's move on. So far, $71,000 has been donated, and we're going to be making visits, as many of my other teammates have said. We're going to be reaching out to people that moved away, people who are no longer members. Especially, we're going to be reaching out to the community, to the village, the town, anyone who sees us as a light on the hill, and I think people do. We have already applied for one grant for our technology upgrade, and we're going to be applying for another grant for the hardscape, the wall between the manse and the church that's crumbling, and the stairs and the sidewalk, and a new welcoming patio out there that will give us lots of opportunities. We will be getting back a rebate on our boilers, and we'll be having special fundraisers, one of them being in the spring, we hope, if everything goes okay, a donated brick for our sidewalk and our patio area, and that will involve the community and you and a lot of people. So I guess right now, we're reaching out and we're saying, please join our mission and our vision.
Thank you. And so that really is the other side of this. Many of you know that before I came here, I served only communities in economic decline, and it was kind of unheard of for people to just start giving money without being asked. I find this to be a very generous congregation, and this is definitely not a community in severe economic decline. It's a pretty comfortable community, although each household can be different in every community. And I just want to say this plug, which I should as a minister, that if you're someone or anyone who is struggling and just trying to keep, the bill collectors and the debt collectors off the doorstep, then you're not under any pressure to give. That's not the role of the church. The role of the church is to help you with that, not increase that kind of desperation. But for most of us, we are not in that situation. So this message is for us. Many people have asked, well, how do I give? It's the same that we give for everything else for the church, right? Just make sure that you designate it for the capital campaign. That's the only difference. And so we have ACH, automatic bank transfers. We have online giving via our webpage. Of course, checks. Cash is always king, except for, we worship the King of Kings. But other than that, so you can give however you want, just please be sure you designate it for the capital campaign. And then sometimes people misunderstand. They say, well, this is so infrequent, I have to give it all right now. No, feel free to draw out those payments. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm drawing out my contributions to it so that it's not a one big hit, which then causes some financial tension, not to mention marriage tension. So we don't want any of that. All right, and then people say, well, then should I take from my pledge campaign? These are great questions people are asking. Thank you for openly asking them. Should I then decrease my pledge in order to fund the capital campaign? No. That what we're trying to do is create a distinction between regular giving and what is kind of one-time giving. Right? Think of this more as a one-time gift, and that you can spread out. Okay? You can make a pledge and then pay it over time. So hopefully that answers all of our questions, and we remember that really our goal, let our focus always be, we have a solid, well-established memory here. It has all the infrastructure it needs, and we are looking to expand and adapt to the changing needs around us. And we are going to have, we're going to stay here, the members of the team who are here after the service, and take your questions. Right? We're not going to open that up as part of our service, but we'll have a time afterwards, after worship, when you can do that, if you're not too hungry. So thank you, and thank you so much to our team. None of us have done this before. We're learning, although Susan brings a lot as someone from the development office of a local college, so thank you for that. Oh, is there one more slide? Oh, well, there it is. Okay, yeah, I was on message. Our church story will continue. Now, let us close out our worship service with our final hymn and benediction.